Hey there. Welcome to Bushwhacked Adventures. Are you ready to journey into the wilderness and explore the great outdoors?
Good morning. It's time to do a little project in the trailer again. We're into September, no longer in the 100-degree days. It's going to be really nice out here today. What I'm doing is looking forward to the future. Winter's coming in a few months, and temperature's going to drop, and I have to figure out how I'm going to stay warm while I'm in this trailer. I may have mentioned in the past I plan on putting a wood-burning stove in here, and I'll show you the space that I'm planning on doing that in. Let's pivot around. You can see what I've got going on with my counters in the back. Still need to stain those two, or mineral oil, the top two levels. But one of the first things I did after I got the walls and floor done was I built this cabinet area here in the front to accommodate a fridge, my toilet area, and right there is where I had planned on putting a stove, some sort of heat source. And researching different types, I've made a decision what I'm going to go with in terms of a heater to put in there. It is going to be a wood-burning stove. I'm going to use the Cubic Mini GRIZZLY model. And as I've researched that, my original hope and plan was to be able to put the stove on the floor level and then punch out the front wall with a 90-degree elbow and then cap it off, and then once I'm in an area where I'm going to use the stove, I can extend the pipe outside. Well, for those of you that may already know, that's not a good idea. You don't end up with enough flue velocity for the gases for it to function properly, and you're going to build up a lot of creosote and potentially have a fire. Well, we don't want that. So next option would be to run the flue straight up, cut about a 7-inch diameter hole in the top of my countertop, and then up out of the ceiling. That's not the best idea either, because it really eliminates a lot of the counter space or the countertop space and makes it a little bit less usable and functional. So what I've decided to do for my solution is this. I'm actually going to take the countertop and make a cut right back here and then over. I won't go all the way back because it is diagonal. I'm not going to be able to nest the stove completely back in there anyways. I'm going to come back to about where it's levelish, come across, and then over, and then use that as the platform to drop down lower and put the stove on that. I'll leave a gap down lower to allow for just wood storage. It'd be nice to have a spot inside where I can keep a little bit of firewood available. So that's my plan. Right now, I'm going to come underneath here, unmount everything, make a few cuts up top, drop this board down, and get everything mocked up and ready for the stove that's coming. I have here a box that simulates about the size of the Cubic Mini stove. I've got the shielding coming, and with that you only need about a couple of inches of space. So I can set that stove about right there. And then I don't have it right now, but I'm going to leave space for future to mount their little water jacket here on that side. But it's going to be up at about this level. So it'll be about here. Not quite on the ground, but close enough to the ground that I shouldn't end up with cold spots. which is a common theme on YouTube when you see people have mounted their trailer or their stove up at 3 or 4 feet high. It's they comment that the floor is cold. I want it close enough to the floor that I don't have that. It'll be cooler, but it won't be cold. So that's the plan for today. I'll go ahead and set the camera up and start disassembling. You know, I just built it. Move on to the next phase. Let's modify it, make it work for what we want to do. Now that we have that secured, what we need to do next is do some marking here. Take off that trim over the top and do some marking to figure out where I'm going to cut it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to make sure I'm making a cut deep enough that I'm accomplishing what I need to for space. There is, with the stove, I can have it sit out a little bit beyond what you see here for the countertop. Probably about there, and I could even go to there and still have good clearance away from the door. But on the back side, what I'm after is the shielding is a little under an inch. And then we need 2 inches away from the shielding to the back of the stove, which gives me basically 3 inches. So if I use that 3 inches from here and pull it forward, that is about the final position of my stove. And right there, I'm pretty flush with the opening of the door. The door is large, it's 3 feet wide. So it's plenty of space in terms of the door. And I think I may be pretty happy with that, or I may go back just another little bit from this point. If I take that, that's 1.5 inches. So 3 would be to there. I like that better. So that's where I'm going to make my cut. All right, here goes everything. Got my my blade set to the depth I want. Here we go. Just kidding. That's going to work really well, but that's not the first cut I want to make. First cut I want to make is right here, and then get this back line cut so that then I can very easily make this final cut and then finish it up with the jigsaw. So if I were to cut here all the way across and then over to there, while I'm struggling to finish this off with the multi-tool, I could potentially crack it. So we're gonna make that cut first, but that's ready to go. Happy with that. For this one, pull out the multi-tool, get it plugged in, and we'll just do a plunge cut right through here, up to the point where I can get either the jigsaw or the skill saw in there to finish off the rest of that. But we'll just start right here, get a plunge cut in, and we'll go from there. We're good. All right. Good. All right, and for this corner, I think I will go ahead, because the blade thickness is different for the jigsaw compared to the multi-tool. So I'm not going to be able to just put that blade down into this same cut. So I'm debating if I'm going to just drill a hole right here in this corner, because I know that I'm going to have 1 inch thick shielding all the way around that, which will hide that spot. So let me grab the drill. I like that spot. I just finished the cut with the circular saw. I don't know how much of it I captured there because the camera shut off. My battery died. So I've got literally ½ an inch left here to finish this up, and this will be free. So I'm going to just quickly come down here, get that last little bit, and then we can lower this down. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, now we can drop this down to something like that. I think we're gonna go even lower than what you see right here, but happy with the way that turned out. We'll do a little bit of sanding to clean up the edges and get some mineral oil on it. It'll be good to go. Okay, this is the spot. This is where we're spending the day working on this. And what I have done is I have cut some templates. These are roughly the size of the shielding that I've ordered to come with the stove that are designed for this purpose, to bring it to a near zero clearance install. I'm still going to give a couple of inches around it, but it greatly reduces the depth and the clearance that's required around the stove. Without the shielding, you need like 20 inches along the sides and back and all around in order to keep it from potentially igniting any combustible materials like my wall paneling behind it. So this is my space, and I'm trying to determine right now, how low do I drop this down? What I'd like to do is to have the shielding end up flush with the top of the countertop, as you can see here. So I've got some space to work with down below, and that's going to leave a little bit of a pocket down here that I can use just to store wood for the purpose of burning in the stove. Now, it's a little bit of an odd shape. I'm actually going to get a piece of plywood and cut and fill in this spot right through here, so that when the countertop, juggling camera and countertop in my hands here, when it drops in or slides in, it's going to be blocked off here and here. I'll wall that in with plywood. That'll help to keep heat transfer to the fridge, which isn't necessarily a good thing. And I think it's going to work out well. You can see how much we get to drop it down. About 4 inches. So what you see below will drop down 4 more inches to the top of that, and so that'll be good. That'll still provide, well, we're at 19 now, so it'll go to 15 minus the 1.5 inches. So you're going to have about 13 inches of space underneath, which I think is about perfect for what I'm wanting to do. That gets the stove fairly close to the ground, not on the ground, but I'm liking how that's going to end up. In that way, the shielding is going to be flush to the edge of the counter, just like that. There's another piece of shielding that will work through this space as we go up. I have to look as well at the whole picture, because we're going to put a hole in the ceiling, and it looks like my light is going to be pretty close to being in the way. We're going to find out. All right, going to put the camera back on the tripod and get busy with this. Okay, I think for right now, I'm about as far as I can go. I was thinking about going ahead and constructing something through here for the flue pipe, but I'm not sure where it's going to end up yet. I want to wait until I have the stove positioned, drop a plumb line down, and I think it's going to be somewhere about right in here. We're going to cut a 7-inch diameter hole. But I think I have a structural truss right through here that I want to make sure that I'm avoiding. And we're proximity to this light, so some complications there. But for right now, really happy with how it's working out. That's kind of about what we're going to have. We have about 12 inches underneath to store some firewood. And yeah, now I just got a mess. I think I'm going to focus on cleaning up for right now. And we'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell to receive notifications for future content. That's all, folks. See you on our next adventure.